What's going on, everybody? This is BMT coming at you again. You already know I am multitasking, whereas I'm working in my room. I'm busy. The kids are right now doing their testing out there, so I'm pretty much in here because I don't want to disturb them. Um, Sometimes that whenever we talk about certain stuff, depending on the spacing of it or the atmosphere, that's why tonight I try to um, schedule my shows at a time that it won't interfere with my kids or have them. I don't want them. I don't want to have them pick up on some things that not yet. Not if I can control it. I sent out the link to Dr.A. Let me make sure I can be heard. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. I'm just gonna wait a minute. Let the chat. I really don't like that. YouTube got these kind of things on you where your channel it's hard to be seen. Testing 1, 2, 3. Where your channel. Okay, yeah. So we definitely know it's working. But let me go ahead and change that up. I was over on Maurice Delk's channel and just had up a certain avatar just to put it up there. Y'all know I've had the avatar for a while. But waiting for Dr.A and trying to get her. Let me try to call her. Give me a second. I do apologize for the wait. Okay, so she's grabbing the link right now. But I definitely want to have a talk with you guys about consensual. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We want to have a talk about a few various things that go on. As you already know, it's a deep it's something of mine to talk about these kind of things because we're going into Black History Month, which is the first start of today. And I know some people don't care to talk about it, but they want to talk about empowerment or Black empowerment, or they make big deals of, you know what, other things. And I will address all those things in due time. There's just not enough time in the day, but I will hit at them all. But I don't have a problem talking about sexual abuse. I don't have a problem getting at talking about sex trafficking. We don't have a problem talking about consensual ages. We don't have a problem talking about all those kind of things. But it seemed like those were pretty much interesting talking points from what I was hearing from people that's saying the age of consent. And I was like, well, when stupid people talk on YouTube, people listen. People listen. And they think that because I'm a Black man, I'm going to co-sign consensual age sex. Y'all think that we're overlooking because we know people who have money. It amazes me that with all the things off, let's be honest. Black people get more egregiously sexually abuse than anything and don't say nothing about it. They don't. We don't talk about this. We really don't. We don't talk about the sex trafficking going on in our community. We don't talk about the sexual deviancy that's happening in our community. We don't talk about the consensual downside of, well, they were consensually of age, and guess what? Then also y'all start complaining about teen moms and single mothers and all this other stuff. But then y'all don't. Then, but when we want to have the conversations, those aren't the times when y'all want to talk about it. So it amazes me. That's what I said. It amazes me. What's going on, Moon Lagoon? It amazes me as much as people are fixated on high value and how to please a man and, get with an older man, and pretty much they were down for the team and all that stuff. It amazes me that how these conversations, the ones that really have been buried into our community for a long time, have been skipped over. Nobody wants to talk about the cousin that was raped. Nobody wants to talk about the stuff that the older people used to do with the kids. Nobody wants to talk about what happened behind the church. Nobody wants to talk about what happened when you spent the night at grandma's house. See, nobody likes talking about the egregious act because we can't see our people in that type of limelight. Lord knows, because, that's only something that only a white person would do. But then let's call it out for what it is. It's not, listen, man, we got in-house problems that we're dipping around, choosing to knowingly not want to talk about. We do. We got in-house problems that we're knowingly choosing not to talk about. So I find it very interesting that a space that is so hooked on talking about sex, traveling, finding submission, and all these things, especially on Black History Month, now all of a sudden, this is a conversation that everybody want to dip, dodge, dive, don't want to talk about getting their freak on, all that good stuff. This is what, that's like I said, man. We're not built the same in this space. We're definitely not. Majority of y'all were rape victims, or actually, majority of y'all are products of rape. Let's just call it out like we see it. If I were to take 10 black children, and sit them down, I'm willing to bet 3 of them children out of them 10 were products of rape. You weren't here because somebody wanted you. Oh yeah, we loved you enough that we wanted to put you here on this earth. Nope. You sure enough we're not. You were not put here because of that. So we definitely here. As much as we like talking about the what's going on, Dr.A? How you doing, beautiful?
Hey, number one host with the most. Happy to join you in 2021.
Exactly. We definitely are here for the convo. We're definitely here for the convo, love. We're gonna crack it off, especially the first day of Black History Month. We're gonna be talking about sex trafficking, consensual age, the dirty deeds of what we don't like. It's amazing with Black History Month. It's one of the things that doesn't like to be talked about is the sexual abuse that has happened to our people, or the young girls who have been pushed to having sex, young men that have had sex with overage women, the abortions, the women that have been forced to go to the clinic to get abortions, different other things that have been going on that I know you either walked across or seen on the desk. And literally, it amazes me, like, as much as our community is hooked on sex, and we know that we're definitely over sexualized more than anything, and it's okay. We'll hold that. We'll hold that card. But we also understand that it comes at a charge. It comes at a charge of how it affects the psyche, how it's affecting our young women. You are a successful woman, but we can also be assured that there's not a lot of women that are going to reach your plateau. There's not a lot of women that are going to get up there where you're at. I'm sure you've dealt and seen a lot of stuff that have sat down in front of your office desk that you had to make certain calls about. So we're here to talk with you and pick your mind to actually bring about certain relevancy, especially when it comes to this. So you definitely going to be going in on this one, but it's definitely good to have you back when it comes
Thank
to
you.
sex, sex trafficking, and pretty much about the consensual age. So I'll let you get at it and go at it.
Well, the first and most important thing that I really want to talk about today is the fact that we have misconceived notions in the 21st century about what sex trafficking even is. So we have to come to an understanding about the definition of this dilemma, this crisis. 1 second, Joe.
Go ahead. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. Fix. You muted yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Better. Gotcha.
Awesome. Okay, audience. So, again, the first thing we really have to do is define sex trafficking. So, even as a board certified women's health doctor, meaning I work in delivering babies, taking care of rape victims, taking care of the victims of incest, molestation, children who have been abused, young girls whose virginity has been taken from them. Even I have a difficulty in really understanding clearly what sex trafficking in the 21st century looks like. So we have become accustomed to this concept of, this kidnapped person who's kept in a locked chamber, like the sicko in Ohio who took the 3 girls as adolescents and he had them for, I don't remember how many years, Joe, but for years, I think 10 years, he had these girls captive in his house in Cleveland, having sex with them, keeping them in dog chains, impregnating them, forcing them into having abortions. One of them was forced to actually give birth to the child in this sick condition where she could not be in a healthy environment and have a healthy, therapeutically, mentally, psychologically, physically healthy and safe birth of her child. She delivered like an animal in a cage. And when this sicko was caught, which was only because one of the girls began to yell and scream when they were home alone, and a neighbor heard and they were rescued by the police. Then the sicko committed suicide. So, in other words, these sick perverts that are molesting our children, they don't even have no cojones, as the Spanish say. They ain't got no balls, they ain't got no guts. They are gutless cowards. That's why they don't want to, in blatant language, they don't want to fuck a woman with pubic hair. They want a baby so that they can exercise complete control. But in the 21st century, this looks a little different. We have people who use that money, power, respect thing in a totally inverted fashion. So they are using their power and their money to manipulate vulnerable women, whether they're financially vulnerable, they're mentally vulnerable because they have a mental condition, they're emotionally vulnerable because their own parents do not resonate in their life. They're psychologically vulnerable. They may have already been victimized, molested, raped. And people with money and power are taking advantage of vulnerable women, giving them some mollies, giving them some quaaludes, and fucking them. Well, guess what? Bill Cosby was America's doctor. Long before I was Dr.A, you better believe I was watching Bill Cosby. And as I'm watching and growing up on Bill Cosby, I had no idea, none of us did, the Quaaludes and this, that, and the other. It doesn't take away from what he did as a contribution to the Black community. Sure, he gave endowments to our HBCUs. He enriched the lives of young Black family members like me. Our sense of the father, the mommy, the brother, the love in the Black family, that was never depicted on television before Bill Cosby. None of that historic truth can be taken away. But when we look at him as a man, he gets an F. He has to take a L. He has to take the L, okay? Because you don't use Quaaludes to have sex with a grown woman. You don't need to make her in a state where she has no cognizant memory of what's happening and she cannot be a consenting adult. Ladies, you have the right to consent. Be in your right mind. It's really not cute to get fucked up to the point where you don't remember things, to the point where you have no conscious understanding of what you're doing or who's on top of you or who's inside of you. Joe, the problem begins with chemicals. The problem is a drug-related problem.
I think one of the things about it is and we had to talk about it. Peace to everybody in the chat. Like I said, and we're gonna be banging at this hard because we definitely know it's put out there a lot about control, about dealing with sexual deviancy. We even also understand that men and women are now getting in it, getting involved with it, where they're bringing other women into the fray, and literally, we're seeing it where it's getting worse. It's not getting any better. I myself, I'm a survivor. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't affect my life. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm not going to lie and not say it doesn't. Let me get right back. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't. It doesn't affect my life. Um, Dealing with being a sexual abuse victim. I never said anything about it until 7 years later. Never said anything about it, and I'm a man, so I kept that secret buried with me for a good while. But I also know it does have effects on me sexually, mentally, my perception of how I go about dealing with stuff. Um, I think I even remember when DMX came out talking about how his mentor introduced him to crack and how
Yeah,
that messed him up. And y'all
yeah,
see how DMX is now with all the
yeah,
kids. His mind is all fragmented.
yeah.
And the stuff he get into. We can pull out all the people that have been sexually abused,
That's
and
right.
we can look just honestly start to look at them psychologically and how they are, their depth perception of sex. Um, you know what I'm saying? People like to say, well, I want to go out there and have fun. Like Dr.A, come on, let's just go out there and have fun. And then you go into a room or you go into a situation that's well out of your control. You thought that you were doing
Bingo,
you thought you were doing
bingo,
wonderfully,
bingo,
but then all of a
bingo.
sudden, well, Dr. A, you only said that I'm going to be here with Curtis. But
Yeah,
Curtis has one or two
there you
people
go.
in the room.
There you go.
Hold up, like whoa, 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 whoa. This is more than what y'all said I would do. I thought I was
That's
just
it.
with him,
That's
and
it.
I'm now with him, and him in this room.
Right, right. That's right.
So we're looking at these scenarios and saying, well, she shouldn't have never went there, or you should have never put yourself in that predicament. And see, when I hear those talking points, I always wonder from where the source that it came.
You have to.
You know what I'm saying? I always ask that, from where the source does it come?
That's it.
Well, why would they want to do that? Or these are just allegations. Well, let's think of it. How many people of color have reported being sexually abused to the police and it gets swept under?
Bingo.
How many people of
Bingo,
color
Joe.
have had children and you wonder why your mother or the mother does not want to touch the child, really doesn't want to be bothered with them?
That's it. That's
And y'all
it.
be like, well, she's just a bad mother. Or probably, do I ever think that she probably was forced to have that kid?
Right.
She was probably trapped. Trapped is a thing, or stealthed, where they, pull the condom off, pregnate the person. There's this big thinking process that black women are running to the abortion clinic to get abortion.
Exactly.
We have a doctor right here that will tell you.
That's
If
it.
that's the case, then y'all like making jokes about Section 8 babies. So why aren't these women getting abortions? Why aren't these women getting abortions if black women can just go get abortions on a whim? Or women of color can do that. Or maybe they're keeping these kids. Maybe they're just like, I just got to suck this up. I find this very interesting because whenever y'all like looking at these slavery movies, I don't think the master was asking consensually to have sex with the slave or have sex with the,
Bingo.
or
Bingo.
with the man.
Bingo. Bingo.
So
all of that.
If you inherit that type of mindset, which has been passed on,
Yes, it has.
we can do this talk, and I'm more than able about this because now we're looking at it when it comes to sex, and we're looking at it that and talking to a lot of people that are on social media. I notice the more sexualized people get the faster intake of likes. Like,
yes. Oh, yes. Social media is all about sexualization, Joe. So the more you're willing to sexually exploit yourself, the hotter a commodity you are. And that's pathetic, especially for the young girls. I literally have a patient who will remain anonymous, but I'll talk about the story because it may help and save other women. Okay. This girl is 13 as she was my patient in New Jersey, growing up with her grandmother. Why? Because both of her parents, sorry SOBs that they are, signed that they don't want to be her parents. In other words, they signed away their parental rights. You know what that says to a Black child when you do that?
what?
F you, you're a mistake. I don't want you. There is no more blatant way to say it. So now she's growing up, thank the Lord, with her grandmother instead of foster care. Okay. But how does she feel about herself? Like a reject, like somebody who was thrown in the garbage, because that is what her parents functionally and legally did to her. So this girl feels her self-esteem like nothing. So you know what she does? She gets on the social media, the Instagram page. She wants to flash her breasts. She wants to show putting objects in herself. This is long before she's going to be, quote, sex trafficked. She's in her own bedroom, showing her breasts, showing various things, putting objects in herself so that she can be popular. She wants to be popular. So, yes, social media primes low self-esteem, needing acceptance type of people, male, female, LGBT, whatever. If your self-esteem is in the gutter and you need a daddy, oh, Instagram is more than happy to be your daddy.
Right. I think one of the biggest things, Dr.A, is people have been running out here rather than getting the proper help or proper clinical eval, like running to someone such as yourself. They've been running to social media.
Yeah.
Try to, and we always say, well, where are the parents? Well, if there's something off about them mentally,
That's it.
then it's not going to really matter because they're, consistently trying to figure themselves out or try to say, well, it's better. And this is weird. Some people don't think it's better to feel pain Um, Better to feel pain than actually not feel anything at all.
Yeah.
I too can tell y'all that to deal with my sexual trauma, I was having reckless, reckless, dangered sex.
And that's a common response. Very common.
Let me put it like this. I'm not fully together, and that's fine. I don't care how y'all take it or how y'all want to see me. I'll do that. I didn't care who it was or how the person looked. I just knew that whenever that urge came, I just had to go get it. So I would seek out other broken people, such as myself, whether we were getting drunk or high, whatever we had to do just to get away from the pain.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what it is. It's a survival technique, adapted survival. So a person who is being victimized, what is the worst part about the victimization? It's not the physical pain. It's the emotional, psychological experience of being dehumanized. It is the experience of being powerless. It's the experience of not having a choice. The difference between a donkey and a human being is the power of choice. That's it. That is what humanizes us. So when somebody takes away the power of choice, I don't care if it's a boyfriend, a husband, the slave master, somebody who's supposed to be a friend, supposed to be a relative. It really does not matter. The point is, if you're put into the situation where you feel powerless, like an animal, you will do whatever it takes to regain a sense of, I got the power, because that rehumanizes you. So, yes, Joe, and thank you for having the power and the courage and the integrity to share with your audience in a very candid way so that they can grow, so that they can connect, so that they can chime into what we're talking about. We're not talking about nothing hypothetical. This is real. Our community has been raped, molested, and brutalized since we were put on the Middle Passage slave ships. It hasn't stopped. Let me tell you something real about me, Joe, since we're being candid today. I have intentionally, the millennials talk about bodies. How many bodies have you taken? Well, yes, I know everybody that I've taken. Okay. I know your address, I know your mama's name, but more specifically, we ain't got no white bodies on Dr. A's count. Why is that? Is it because I'm just discriminating? Well, yes, I have that power. When it comes to sex, you can discriminate. Ladies, men, everybody, be discriminatory, not in terms of who you interact with, but in terms of who you have sex with. You better discriminate a little more. Okay. I intentionally do not sleep with white boys. Yes, it's discriminatory. You know why? That's because the power. I am the first generation of Black women in America that can say no to white dick. So, just based on GP, the answer is no. The answer is no. And there are many women that may be lesbian for the same reason. They were raped by a man. It was so traumatizing. It was so devastating that they just want the power. I can say no to dick for the rest of my life. There are other women who may have been born that way, like Whitney Houston, but that's not always the case. Trauma, sexual trauma, creates sexual fallout. And many of the conditions that people find themselves in, Joe, not just what you just confessed, sexual promiscuity to reclaim your own power as a human being, but also sexual choices and the pattern of continuing to be an abuser. Many people They were molested or victims of incest, and their dysfunctional response, instead of getting counseling, they are victimizing other children like
Right.
they were victimized. So,
Right.
yeah, if you act out and you don't seek counseling, you essentially fucked one way or the other. So either you're an abuser or you're seeking out dysfunctional relationships yourself,
Right.
or you're being promiscuous in ways that you should not, or you may not even recognize the ways in which you're devaluing your own regal authenticity. You're devaluing your true self identity because you have not discovered it, because somebody took it from you. When they abused you, when they victimized you, they arrested your own natural God given development
Right.
and set you on a whole different curve that is not your authentic, God given, who you're supposed to be. And instead of seeking the help you need, getting the counseling, and getting back on track with your God given purpose in this world, you now have been left swiped. Your whole life is left swiped. And so you're acting out, you're fucking it out, you're drinking it out, you're drugging it out, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're stripping it out, and you're not being who you were really created to be, all because of the creep that victimized you. Eventually, you got to grow up. You got to put on your big girl or your big boy panties. Seek out the help you need. Put your own oxygen mask on first. When you seek out your own help, when you deal with what was done to you, then you can get back on track with your life and get about what you're really supposed to be about. Well, because we have several generations, go back to slavery, all those generations of Black American people have come under a dysfunctional system where if they were not molested or raped, their sister, their auntie, their mommy, somebody was within 6 degrees of separation. So we've
Right.
got all that dysfunction in our community, and we want to wonder why we can't get it together. Come on now. What other race of people has been literally raped, molested, and victimized the same as the African in America?
Right. No, that's true. And I think that, like I said, like that I'm looking at it from the depth perception of it runs deep. It runs very deep. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to think that this is even easy for me.
No,
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
not.
But we gotta realize that we have a deep problem. Y'all can talk about the single mothers all you want, the deadbeat daddies. They're all gonna start coming down and stemming from a source. We can definitely start asking the case about, y'all gonna say, well, sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, man, like, I'm sorry. Like, there's been a lot of that. Actually, it's more prevalent in our community because it goes not getting reported. Doesn't get
That's
really
it.
doesn't
That's
really
it.
doesn't really get reported. We just think that that person just up and left or just disappeared or they just ran away from home. And I mean, we don't even want to. We're not going to even get too far into detail with this with a doggone foster care.
Yeah.
But we definitely understand that there has been a lot of stuff. This is why. And shout out, thank you, Dana, for the $20. This is why I don't. This is why now I don't look down on, or I don't frown down on the women's suffrage, especially for Black women or women of color, because I'm pretty sure if you were to sit the women in your house or your family house and ask them about, hey, I would just want y'all to. Y'all don't even have to. I'm gonna turn off the light, and I just want y'all give them a rag. Just give them a rag. Just try it. If you really want to see just how bad it is, take the women in your family, give them each a rag. Okay, turn off the light and say, if you or have you been sexually abused, or have you been touched inappropriately, stroll the rag in the middle. I
That's
promise
it. That's
you will
it.
be surprised at the results. Turn off the light.
That's right.
You don't know who did it.
That's right. Make it a safe environment.
Make it a
That's
safe
it, Joe.
environment, and
You're
you will
right,
be
Joe.
surprised what results you find out about the women. Now we get I guess we're getting, and shout out to Dana for the donation. Thank you, love.
Shout out to Dana for her presence and for
Yeah.
showing up.
Heck
Dana
yeah.
has been a real deal from back in 2020, and she knows that.
Oh
She's
yeah.
the real deal Holyfield when it comes to sisters uplifting of other sisters. She did
Yeah.
it long before we started supporting Kamala. Dana's been supporting other sisters, and thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Dana. And so like I said, I sat down and started talking about this, but we got a big issue touching at this. I wanted to touch. I wanted to address the consensual side of things.
We have to address that.
I had a conversation with a few people, and they were talking about consensual, and they were like, "Well, the age of consent is 16 in the state. So, me, a grown man, if I were to get with a girl or a teenager girl that's 16, she's of age of consent." I would ask you, doctor, how would that hold up if you see me, a grown man, walking a 16-year-old girl in there, and you find or you catch whiff that I'm her lover
Right. You know
from
what?
from you.
Okay. So thank you for that question, Joe, because we do have to talk about consent and we do have to talk about what the law says, what the church says, what the doctor says, and what God says, because the ethical consent is this. The real deal is this. The brain does not fully develop until you're 25 years of age. Okay, 25. So that's not 16 when you start driving. That is not 18 when you can start smoking tobacco. That's not 21 when you can club. And this is why, once again, I say that this issue of putting yourself as a human being under chemical influence to the point where you're not in your right mind, you know what? You're playing with your life. That is just as serious as playing with a loaded gun. Because if you cannot say, I don't consent, I don't agree, no, you're in deep shit. You really are. When you're at the point you cannot even say no, you're not cognizant, coherent, alert, present enough to say no. You don't want five guys all having sex with you tonight. You don't want to have sex with girls and men. You don't want to have sex, period, with even the one person you're on a date with. Even if you say no, you could be raped, you could be victimized if you have put yourself in a predicament, meaning you went to the hotel room, you went to the back room, you went to the club, you went to the house party, and they're going to do what they're going to do because there you are, and you're dolo and you're vulnerable. My advice to you, all people under 25, you have to travel like the wolf in packs. You don't need to be dolo if you plan to go out and get fucked up. You don't. You're not grown enough. You think you are until the situation overwhelms you. Now what? Now you have to live with this, like Joe said, for the rest of your life. You don't forget being victimized ever. There has never in the history of humanity been somebody who got victimized and it's okay and they just let it roll off their back and they kept it moving. That's bullshit. The truth is, sticks and stones, yeah, they do break your bones, okay? But words hurt deeper. Words hurt deeper. the things that people do to you, the things that people call you, the names people call you, the labels people put on you, the labels you put on yourself about your self-esteem, about your self-image, about who you are, about what you're capable of. Those are the words that are going to shape your destiny. They're going to shape your entire life. So the fact of the matter is, you go somewhere and you take a Molly, you pop a pill, you take a drink, you sipping on the codeine, okay? You get twisted and something happens to you, it's going to damage your entire life. It's going to left swipe all God's dreams, all God's promises about who you are and what your purpose is on earth. That's what's going to happen. So consent, no, a 16-year-old cannot consent, even when she's in her right mind. You know why? She's a child. I cannot give a 16-year-old 20 grand and expect her to budget and be smart and save money because she's a child. So if I cannot trust you with 20 grand, I can't trust you with your own brain, your own decision making. I can't trust you to have judgment, to make a judgment call that you can live with for the next 20 years. You are a child. You're supposed to be under supervision, not to dehumanize you, but to protect you. Protection is real. It should be a right. All children should have the right to protection, but they don't. More often than not, Black girls are not protected. It's very significant, Joe, that the Black man ain't in the family. Because what does that mean? That means the Black woman who's raising those children is working 3 jobs. And while she's working 3 jobs, somebody is molesting those children.
I think one of the things about it, um, and I also want to give a special shout out to Clever Kev. He's also in the medical field. There's a much needed conversation going on here. Everyone needs to share this conversation with everyone you know. You can't heal until we speak out loud. Uh, and that's something that we really don't practice. Um, we don't practice speaking out loud. I as a black man, I can contest to that because it's looked at as weak. I know I can understand why it's humiliating. So I don't want to pretend I know what a woman feels whenever because see, here's the thing about it. And I want you to put this in perception. Let's say some girls did come out, right? And I want y'all, this is why a lot of people get caught up in stuff. This is why people get caught up in stuff a lot. Whenever sometimes abuse don't hit you right then and there. Until as you start getting older. Abuse doesn't hit you just right then and there until you start getting older. Or until you get around somebody more, Dr. A or my experience. Whereas you start seeing somebody and like my cousin, he's like a cousin of mine, he was telling me that while he was on vacation, there was an older woman that if they paid her $10, she would give fellatio to young men. And when the guys at the barbershop were hearing this, they were like, my man. And then Only till one guy just said, the one who was doing the shaving, he said, y'all know she's raping kids, right? Did anybody acknowledge? He asked the question. He said, if that had been a man,
Exactly. Exactly.
paying little girls $10 to eat them out, would
Right.
y'all still be saying congrats? So why are we congratulating the young boys
For
into
being victimized. That's
being?
it, Joe.
And so we definitely know the psyche of comparison, but we always hear the talk. Well, men and women are different, but then when we start getting down to the psychological
Yeah.
absence of
Yeah.
sexual deviancy, abuse, this is why a lot of guys, when it clicks into them that they got fucked.
That's right.
You weren't
That's right.
fucking the woman; she was fucking you.
Yes.
She fucked you up, and
Right.
then all of a sudden you want to go get your power back.
That's
And
right.
guess what?
That's right.
You start going after women
That's it.
to go get your power because that one individual took your power,
That's it.
took your innocence. So
That's
now
it.
you exact that same revenge. Oh, because we can go there, and people
That's
say,
it. That's it, Joe. You were objectified. Now you're objectifying others.
I
But
mean,
women want to see it mid-story. Men just objectify women. That's bullshit. Many women, many men, as Joe just said, were victimized when they lost their virginity. It was an older woman who literally took their virginity. So no, that was not a empowering situation for them as a man. It was emasculating. It doesn't matter your gender. When somebody victimizes you, the experience internally is a human experience of dehumanization. It's universal. And when you dehumanize a man and now he is sexually promiscuous, you have to see the whole picture, Black people. This is why we don't have intact Black families. Yes, because there are older women victimizing boys by the masses. One woman may victimize 20 boys, and we think it's okay because they're boys. It's not okay.
them boys are gonna. I want you to understand this. Them boys are gonna get older. They're gonna get stronger. Their minds are not gonna properly mature healthily,
Mm-mm.
and they're going to either A, be victims, as we're starting to see how men are starting to become more mentally confused sexually,
That's right.
or they're going to become predatory,
Bingo.
where they're going to start going
Bingo.
after certain type of women.
That's it.
They're going to
They're the
start.
prey or the predator instead of a healthy, functional relationship. The prey and the predator, that's not a relationship.
And so we see where it's going. We definitely see where it's going. And I know I was going down that line of I was going after broken women. I can admit to that. I was not broke. I was fucked up. So it's easier for me to go after Dr.A if she's fucked up
That's
because
right.
she can't see my pain. So me putting my energy of my pain on her,
That's right.
and we making a whole caduffle
That's right.
of sexual abuse.
That's right.
And see, here's the thing. Let me show y'all this. This is something that's very interesting. Women internalize the sexual abuse and they carry that to their next relationship even harder.
Yep.
So when they meet a good guy like Clever Kev, they don't know how to properly function because they're like, wait, my mind is wired onto that one imprint that last guy, BMT, had abused onto me. So when being in a functional, and this is why sometimes it's even hard for y'all men when you are around a good woman of worth and worth her jewels, y'all don't know how to deal with a woman that is speaking to you, that is talking to you, that is actually being in her femininity, because you're so warped of being over, of thinking of the over sexualization of the trauma and the abuse. You can't function properly in a relationship.
Now you're going for the jugular, BMT.
So,
You hitting for the jugular now.
so Dr. A might have it where y'all are in a talking point relationship, and she might make a remark or say she disagrees because you don't understand power dynamics of a building a relationship or a couple. You feel like your power is being attacked, so you lunge and attack her
That's
mentally,
right.
and most of the time it's physical. And she's like, "Whoa, what just happened? You just grabbed me." You didn't tell her that you was abused. And see, even
Right.
as for women, sometimes the men don't understand what's going on. I
Yeah.
dealt with a woman that if I used to touch her a certain type of way, she would just break down and cry. I didn't know that when she was younger, she was sodomized repeatedly by a friend of hers. And when she told her family, they said, pray about
Mm-hmm. That's
it.
horrible.
And so
That's
she
horrible.
she
So
had to
she was
do.
victimized a second time by her family. And many Black girls and Black boys are. You tell your family, and their response is, quite frankly, a piece of shit. Okay. Because anytime a child tells an adult, I have been victimized, like Joe said, first of all, that takes a lot. Most children would rather die than tell. They are ashamed, they are guilty, and they feel worth less. So
Right.
when they finally have the courage to tell somebody, and the sorry SOB does not stand up and protect them, they feel even 1,000 times more worthless. It validates, I really am a piece of shit. I really am worth nothing because I told Aunt Sally and she said I deserved it. I must have brought it on. I caused it. Aunt Sally is still living with Uncle Ned, who's been fucking me. How does that feel for a child?
I think that's, and that shout out to Young Link for the super chat. Loving the discussion, man. This speaks to the spirit of the community. Thank you, BMT and Dr.A. God bless. Thank you. I think that's one of the biggest issues that we definitely have going on. Uh, Sometimes the abusers right across the table. Sometimes the abusers right down the hallway, comes over every weekend. I can tell you right now, I remember when I went and told a church that I was being raped. You a man now. You a man. And when I remember when I was laying down, waiting for the person to come in the room, I said, God had left me long ago. And I knew there was nobody coming anymore. I grew a bitterment of hate
That's right.
for Black women
That's right.
and Black people. And it took me some work. It took me a lot of work. I don't want y'all to think, listen, I trust and believe there are some days I have to go off by myself and be alone. Like I have to. Like it's not like it's not like it's sometimes I have to.
Yeah.
And I
You're right.
always, and I hate when motherfuckers always say, where is the proof?
Right.
Like,
Right.
see, it's crazy because I find it very interesting. And this is from Black people. When somebody comes out and starts talking about sexual abuse, And people say automatically right off their fucking mouth, where's the proof? And I'll be like, well, damn. Like, motherfucker, like, I wonder how many times throughout majority of our movements, whenever we were saying that these people are doing this or this person is doing that or this is going on, and they would tell you, well, nobody believes you. You have no proof or evidence. There's a reason why they say justice is blind, because literally, I mean, depending on if you have a high enough if you have a high enough platform. We've been saying that the goddamn music industry is goddamn one of the biggest sex traffickers.
That's right.
Sometimes we done been catching shit in there, but
that's right.
It amazes me whenever somebody comes out and starts talking about sexual abuse or deviancy, nobody can fucking believe that.
And let me tell you, that really pisses me off, Joe. Okay, because what happens in this world is that we have taught abusers to be very sneaky motherfuckers. Abusers are very sneaky, okay? And that's why, where's the proof of rape? Where's the proof of molestation? The proof is in the DNA, okay? The semen. If you don't get that sample, where's the proof of what emotionally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually took place? Looking for the proof has really gypped millions of Black and brown women and men out of their dignity, has gypped them. They have come up short because there ain't no proof, okay? Abusers, look at Jeffrey Dahmer and how long he got away with it. He ate the fucking people. He didn't just kill them, he ate them. Look at how long he got away with that. Look at how long the silly clown from Chicago got away with killing Black men. He would fuck them, he would kill them. Mm-hmm. They thought he was a wonderful, upstanding neighbor. Okay? Look at tons of serial psychotic white men, unfortunately. Psychotic, okay? Whether it's a Klansman or a US president, a fucking psycho who knows how to cover their shit. So no, there is no evidence. They know how to cover it up. That's the point. So you're looking for the proof, and the point is you missed the whole point. You missed the whole point. We need somebody to stand up and advocate without the proof.
I think one of the things about it, people knew Tina was getting beat. I believe there was even a time when she was getting raped in front of Ike and her constituents and their people. They just got up and
left. Yeah, he had no shame. He had no shame.
To the point where she's just like, fuck it. So people said, well, the person, if they come from a certain class or look a certain type of way, there's no way anybody can believe that. Why would somebody? And I'm gonna go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start pulling the table. How many interviews have we done seen on DJ Vlad about Tiny, talking about all the crazy shit that her and T.I. did? How many babies outside of their marriage have been popped up now? How many strippers have got onto female blog sites and talked about him? Now all of a sudden, they're starting to say, hey, this motherfucker quaalude me. This motherfucker drugged me.
That's it.
Now y'all find that shit hard to believe. This is why I believe it's innately, almost genetically in the gene that certain types of Negroes like getting fucked over. This is why other groups of people don't like to send their children with our children. Because if we don't take serious when a man or woman starts coming out about shit.
Exactly.
But then you want other people to believe you when you've been wrong. But you don't believe your own people.
That's it.
When shit happens.
That's it.
And I want to. Me Too wasn't even made for y'all. It just really wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Not by you and not for you and not about you. Me Too is about Karen.
So when y'all say Me Too is there to take out the black man, no offense, black man, you at the bottom of the barrel. I know y'all won't think I'm attacking black men. I'm being honestly for real. When it comes to that, two things that black people are known for: entertaining and fucking.
That's right. That's right.
So those of us who are actually in real estate, military, medical, all the other type of fields and stuff, we just walk on through the shadows because nobody really talks about those.
We're invisible. We're invisible.
But if you can dance, boop, 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 or we all know y'all. Everybody knows y'all. We all know y'all. So whenever it comes to talking about the deviancy, y'all, we're saying the black man don't care. The black woman just sells her children. No. Whenever we have time to address this, mind you, yeah, I'm thankful for the people who are in the chat. I am very thankful for y'all. But I'm also amazed that let it be a talk about fucking, getting your fuck on. Let it be a talk about the black woman ain't shit. Let it be a talk about, you know what I'm saying, racial stuff. If it's a solution-based conversation, you motherfuckers don't want the show for that.
Keep it real, Joe. Keep it real.
I would feel better. No offense, and I hate to say this. If it was me and Dr.A and we were white talking to a white crowd, it'd probably be more full up.
Oh yeah.
Because black people we say we give a fuck. This is why I don't have. Let me be honest. This is why I don't have no bang against the LGBTQ. This is why I don't have no smoke against them anymore. I don't. Because at least I see they putting their money in their mouth to action and getting laws and shit passed for them.
They are about it, okay? They are on no bullshit.
We Dr.A, we've been here and it is historically documented about our shit.
That's right.
Y'all still we still got people trying to still talk about sexual. Well, the man, bro. Y'all literally, we can listen, man. Then what are y'all putting out there? It's
That's it.
Popping up. I find it interesting that y'all want to talk about. Well, we need to talk about the stuff that matters. So why don't we start talking about the abuse that's going on internally amongst each other? Why aren't we talking about that? I know we've been hiding that with the church, hiding that with grandma and granddaddy, but you know, grandma, as you get older, she can't hide it no more. We've been hiding that with a lot of things.
Yeah,
now it can't be hidden no more.
No.
Now it can't be hidden. So we have to start asking the question. Because see, these kids are now starting to tell their stories. And see, Dr.A is like, she is morally and by law obligated to say, yo, I have to write this down. So it's the system taking our kids away. No, the kids are now, see, this is what the kids are now starting to tell that
that's it.
My friend is touching me. Guess what? My family's doing drugs and I don't feel safe for me and my cousin no more.
That's right.
We understand that, that gay lesbian cousin of ours, what really happened?
Right.
Why did what happened holistically in that
That's
time when you
right.
went on that drive.
That's
So
it.
now we got these complaints that we need to come together. Nah, why we need to come together? Because y'all ain't give a fuck about our plate. Y'all ain't give a fuck when Dr.A said, you damn sure don't give a damn when I be saying it. But then y'all want to say, well, nobody gives a damn about the black man. Well, do you give a damn to talk about your own shit?
Right. That's it.
So, you know what I'm saying? This is why I call out the hypocrisy. Y'all can throw these books at us all you want, but like I said, there's a reason why now we're starting to see black people starting to divest from the black community.
Yep.
They understand if you don't give a fuck for the abuse, we see how we see the shit on what was talked about on the Breakfast Club and all that shit and all these dumb motherfuckers that they don't want to talk about. Okay, y'all don't want to believe that a man that used to sell dope and sell firearms in the black community
Exactly. Exactly.
possibly be out of reach for him to want to sexually abuse women when literally his resume or DNA receipts is all over Atlanta. The same dude, and
For violence and destruction.
but
What is a fucking gun? What is drugs in our community besides violence and destruction? So this is just the same shit on a different level. Violence and destruction.
so
And you go even deeper is to say, what kind of childhood did T.I. have? Who was fucking T.I.? Because honestly, it goes back to that, okay? T.I. and Tiny both should have had counseling, should have had the right to counseling. Now that they blew up with millions and millions, they are above counseling, supposedly, allegedly. So now when you get no counseling, you have no choice but to what? Act out, act out, act out. Show your ass. And that's exactly what's happening. So yes, you're gonna have guns in our community. You're not uplifting us. You're gonna sell drugs in our community. You're not uplifting us. You're going to take vulnerable women and fuck them, but you want to protect your daughter's hymen? Yeah, you're not helping us. You're not.
now, Dr.A. Some people will say that's amazing parenting. Um, a man every year checking his daughter's hymen. That's amazing parenting.
Right. It's called objectification. You're objectifying her. Okay. So you're dehumanizing your own daughter, objectifying your own daughter. She's now an object. So either she's a virgin or she's worthless. That's not empowerment of women. You're not empowering her any more than you empower the women that you're fucking along with Tiny. That is not women's empowerment. Now, to want a female child to remain a virgin to a certain age is admirable, but it's the how you go about that, okay? Number one is her pussy, not your pussy. And she needs to have ownership of her own pussy from the time that she's a baby. It's your eyeballs, it's your nose, it's your mouth, it's your pussy, okay? It belongs to you. That's called empowerment. Begin there. And then teach her how to have a sense of self-worth. Because when you have self-worth as a woman, you don't want to fuck as a young girl. You don't want to. What you want is to be loved and validated. And there comes a point in your chemical composition where being validated becomes intimacy, a healthy intimacy. But once again, Joe, we don't teach healthy intimacy in the Black community. We teach objectification. That's why you want to fuck somebody doggy style so they can be an object. You don't want to love them. You don't want to make love to them. We're going to have to learn how to love. First, love yourself. Then you can love somebody else. We got to take this shit back to the origin and let's do a do-over. Let's have a redo in 2021 and cut the bullshit, okay?
I think one of the things about it, and this is why the talking about, well, I've heard the talking point that my daughter, she needs to remain a virgin. because nobody wants to get with a woman who's not a virgin. My sons can go out and fuck. This was from his families. This is from his talking points. And I was like, wow. I'm like, dude, your logic is fucked up and flawed. I never met a man that I know of that ever was so obsessed with his daughter's poom poom. I've never had to ask my niece. I believe that so long as I loved her, I reared her, and I talked to her, I can't be there everywhere. There's no way. That's why I know some people need to pick up a book or literally go to sometimes sit down. Because first of all, I just I've never seen any father that I know of sit there at the OBGYN clinic. Literally, that's a place that majority, I mean, and she knows she works there. Most time the women go in there. The men either, for the most part, the only time they go in there is if there's a baby involved inside of there and they want to just look at the baby. But for the most part, we're normally sitting outside or waiting in the car, or we just like, hey, we'll drop you off. But I don't think ever in Dr. A's career has a man come up and say, is the hymen still intact? Is her poom poom still running functionally? Like, I'm pretty sure the nurses and the staff will be looking at that man like, the fuck is wrong with him?
Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you the real deal shit, Joe. Okay. I've been doing this a number of years. Don't worry about how many, because then you're going to try to stereotype my ass and fucking categorize me, viewers. Not Joe. Joe knows everything. But viewer, it's none of your fucking business how many years I've been doing OBGYN. Okay. Enough years to know. But I will tell you this. Yes, I've had a father want to know, is the hymen intact? It wasn't T.I. He was a Middle Eastern man. Okay. So they were Muslim. And this man want to know, is the hymen intact? Not only did I let him know he could go fuck himself, he's not going to get that information. I don't give a fuck who's paying the bill. It's called HIPAA. That means the Health Information Privacy and Protection Act. Okay. The relationship between a doctor and a patient is confidential, even in a court of law. I cannot be forced to tell you if her hymen's intact. It's none of your business. I'm her doctor. She has to be able to confide in me. I have to be a safe place for her. That means if her daddy is fucking her and he brings her to my office, she has to be able to close the door and safely tell me, I'm not safe. My daddy is the one fucking me. This baby inside of me belongs to my daddy. And I cannot tell that motherfucker or anybody else except those who will protect her. That is protected information. Now, the Arabic man who wants to know, is the woman's hymen intact? Is he a good father? No, he's a fucking psycho. You know why? That's how honor killings happen. If her hymen is not intact, this bitch may end up dead. She may be killed. And I say bitch in a loving way. She's a loving person. She's a loving woman. That's a colloquialism that women use amongst one another. Bitch, get out of here. Bitch, you kidding me? The bottom line is this. Just like Black people use the term nigger amongst each other, women use the term bitch amongst each other. That has nothing to do with the devaluing on a woman's value that comes from the other gender. That has nothing to do with the devaluing of Black people that comes from other ethnicities. If you're not a part of the identity group, don't use the colloquialism, period. So this woman would be killed in what's called an honor killing by her own daddy. That's the Arabic tradition. You go to a Middle Eastern country, as a woman, you don't have the same value as a man. That's a fact. That's a fact. If you know your global history, that's a fact. So why in the hell would T.I., a historically victimized Black man, just based on being an African American, you have generations of abuse, victimization upon you, and you want to victimize your daughter and say to your daughter, you two are an object, your pussy's an object, it belongs to me, not to you? That's sick.
Now, some people believe that in the chat that if it's a parent or somebody that you have the right to access certain medical stuff. I'm gonna explain that and why it's changed, because we've been finding out. Somebody asked a question. We're just putting it up here. They said, "Hold up. HIPAA does not prevent a parent from having access to their children's medical information, except in a few states under specific exceptions." Now, we're gonna look
That
at.
depends. That depends. So that's not true. And that depends. And
Right.
especially when it comes to OBGYN, that is a special situation. So OBGYN and a child's sexual health, their STD testing, that is different than just their overall vaccine status, etc. So that's number one.
Right.
Okay. Number two, the child themselves can say, it's okay for you to talk to my mommy. It's okay for you to talk to my daddy. Absolutely. Please, viewers, get your facts. We know how to protect children in the 21st century. If a child is being victimized and they confess this to a doctor, they are safe.
Right. You got to understand. Like, listen, y'all. Like when I ran. Like, okay, so like when I did uh a shadowing with a woman's abortion clinic, as it was called. Well, that's how they look at it. It's pretty much called. It's not called an abortion clinic. It's called a health clinic, a woman's health clinic. But what happens is they have the questions that are asked in the front, but then when the medical profession gets back there, they have their own set of questions. But if certain things come up or certain questions are asked, there's a web chart of if she says A, but it also coincides with B. If there seems to be bruising down below, and she can find out that something was penetrated or something was done, whether there's a guardian or somebody else out there or not, they get removed off the table immediately.
Bingo. Bingo, Joe.
It don't matter
Bingo,
what.
Joe.
No matter
And
what.
you know, because you personally have been there. So
So
thank you, brother, for being in the
so
trenches, being real.
so you get removed off the table immediately. There's no more, because now you have to prove your own damn self. Because now you're dealing with the doctor who the services of the state are going to get involved with. Now you're going to be dealing with CPS, because that individual is now being removed out of the algorithm. So you can say, that's my wife, that's my child. If they ask the question that, hey, well, fun fact, woman shows up, I'm not sure if I want to have this baby. The first question that will come up out of Dr. A's mind, are you under duress?
That's it. That's it.
If she says, I fear for my life, or I fear for my child's life, as a man, you no longer are, you're out. Any
You're
any
out.
other
It's game
any
over
other
for you.
entity, any other entity, you're
That's it.
now taken off the table. Now the lively the survival.
That's
Being
it.
that you brought her there, or probably it could be somebody who's like 17 or whatever. You're no longer having access to that person.
You got it.
Like they're gonna find now they have to start doing an investigation. So when it comes to saying that well, I have rights, like there's reason why even in certain states where certain we finding out everybody's household is not the same. I was very amazed to find out that in one household, due to religion, they did not believe in tampons or certain types of things entering a woman's body. Okay, so the girl had heavy, you know, she was heavy. The nurse at the school said, "Listen, went and bought some tampons,
Right.
nap pads, and she said, listen, when you come to school, come to my office first. I will give you some, which you can go get at college,
That's
um,
it.
college, nursing offices, school offices in
That's
high
it.
school now, in middle school now. Oh,
That's it.
no, I'm
That's
trying
it.
to let you know the world
That's
done
it.
changed, bro. The
That's
world
it.
has changed that I understand for, but see, I'm near. I walk around that world and I
That's
observe.
right.
But believe it or not, Dr.A knows about this. Nursing and different faculty know about this. It's just that a lot of the men, which I encourage a lot of men, hey, get involved, find out. The women have their own subnet of how they maneuver now
That's right.
that you don't know about
That's right.
because they're now this is the difference why women of color are moving up faster. They're passing on the intel of the trauma and the abuse and how to survival kit to deal with the world and also deal with us men. And I know a lot of people are saying, BMT, you sound like a feminist. No, I'm just very observant of what my women are doing. And I know what they're doing. And they're like, you could sit at the edge of the campfire and watch us. And I will be like, well, damn. So don't think that they don't be talking about it at the beauty salon and passing information or whenever they go have their little girl.
Absolutely.
Don't think they're not passing on
Absolutely,
intel
Joe.
so that way they can figure out how to get by. Because we see the economic climb of them as well as what they're doing now in making moves. There's a reason why politicians talk to them because they know that they're more
You
best
got it.
in the medical. Let's be honest, black men, how often do we ever
You
go?
got it.
How often do we go report about us being sexually abused to the doctor? Hell, it's hard enough to get us into the doctor's office.
That's right.
They're doing that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? We got to
You're
also
making some excellent points, brother. Excellent, excellent points.
this is how, like I said,
Black women have already done a pivot, and black men are still back in the 1970s, 1980s. That's why Bill is in jail, okay? Because if he had stopped the Quaaludes at the 21st century, he would have gotten away with the shit. Okay, everybody else was aged out. They could not sue him. Oh, but he kept it going. He didn't realize that women have pivoted. They're not about the same shit that they were about 30 years ago. You're not going to get away with the same shit you got away with. That Playboy Mansion mentality, yes, it used to be a reality. It's changed now. Learn
right.
to pivot, brothers. Listen to what BMT is telling you. It's the straight up truth.
Like one of the things about it, and I try to warn y'all. I try to warn people is be careful. Be careful on how you maneuver or move. You know what I'm saying? We're getting close to our first Intel talking point. Don't worry, I plan on doing another one with Dr.A. We got more coming down the pipe on talks. I probably will grab Dana and literally have them do a reunion. I know Dr.A. and Dana haven't talked in a while, so I definitely will have those two sit down and connect. I probably try to get Dr.A. over there with Dana, and so that way they can have a talk for their history month. And I would want to, and I'm going to probably sit down with Clever Kev and talk with him another time. But I told y'all this was not going to be an easy talk because now y'all hearing just a snippet of what's going on Again, the consensual age thing, saying that, well, y'all pulling it up on YouTube or Google, that shit don't work in the eyes of the medical field, the eyes of the court, the eyes of law enforcement, or it won't. It just will never pan out. There.
And you know what, BMT? That lets you know how important this subject is in our community. If we don't even understand privacy, safety, and talking to a medical professional and how to protect our youth, are they safe or not? We don't even get that. Yeah, we need to stay right there until we as a community get the point. How are we supposed to protect the youth when we're debating back and forth about what the point is? We don't know the facts. Let's get the facts, people, as an adult community, so we know what to tell a 12-year-old and we can be right. See, because I'm not talking hypothetically, neither is Joe. I'm real deal. I'm with the rape victim. I'm with the incest survivor. Joe has gone stomping in these communities. You're sitting there on the internet Googling some shit. Figure it out, please. For the sake of our children, figure this shit out this month, February 2021. Let's get this right.
I think one of the things about it is, and this is, we got to start looking at this. This is why we're seeing the divestment of why a lot of our people, if they get a chance to opt out to the LGBTQ, the women's only empowerment movement, the I don't identify with black movement, all these other, y'all wonder why y'all seeing them doing this. Because let's be for real, black people don't feel safe in the black community like that anymore. If literally we cannot address these things anymore, but we're watching other groups who are coming in and they're addressing their issues amongst their people, but we refuse to overlook that. It's like me and Dr.A having a child, but our child comes to us and says, this happened to me, mom and dad. And we're like, okay, whatever. Then they're going to start looking to outsource solutions that will acknowledge them. Even if it is painful, even if it is damaging, they will still go out there and look into this. We have a grave issue with abuse in our community. And we like to say that, hey, that's what it means. Like, listen, y'all, everything can't be answered with a beating or a belt. Everything, listen, every relationship can't be healed with just fucking and sex.
That's
Let's
right.
let's honestly be let's be real about it.
That's right.
The sex trafficking, see, it's all funny when we calling these people pimps or she got game or they're leveling up. No, they're just getting passed around. And literally when they come about wondering about it and they start saying, well, they wanted to do that. Okay, so if you want to go with that, then understand what is the end result of the ramifications of doing this. Because see, she's there inside the office on the medical side. I'm there. I'm the one that's going there to the hotels, trying to keep
Exactly.
the person alive, trying to make sure they didn't OD, catching this guy or girl. Let's say I just was having fun. I didn't think that they were going to OD. Now we got to take their ass to court because now that's second degree. That's second degree murder because literally you doggone and it's crazy. But these people are like, how did all this happen? And we're like, hey, and I'm sorry, I be pulling a lot of these people out of the hotels. I talk to a lot of these people. I talk to a lot of these men and women who are now that they get older, and they say, "Listen, people were touching me. I
Right.
never did like that."
Right.
I mean, we got to be like I said, man. When I'm hearing people talking about hitting the wall at 25, so when the fuck are you hollering at these women? What age are you hollering at these women? What can honestly a 30 or 40-year-old man have in common with a teenager? What can an
Exactly.
older woman have in common with a young boy? Like,
Exactly.
let's be real with that. They can't even get a drink. They can't even pick up a pack of cigarettes. But all of a sudden, y'all tell me y'all have something sexually and naply in common with these people? No, 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 no. See, but then you're saying that people are getting victimized, and that's why I never understood the talking points these days. So we definitely know that there are some inept problems. And me and Dr. A watch. We sit down, we sip our wine, and we watch. And I'm like, okay, dear. But she told me, she said, no, I want to talk about this. That's why she, like I said, the TI thing, motherfuckers are saying that, oh, those allegations. But then hold up. All the other time that these things were coming out, all the time that Tiny done had a stillborn baby. Oh, y'all forgot about that? All the time that TI done been caught up in shit. You think somebody who done traffic guns and dope ain't never damn doped up a girl? You don't think Tiny has never been taking part with? Let's be for real. Tiny, some women. I'm gonna throw this out. But Tiny's not innocent. She's not innocent. Don't think some women haven't done fuck shit to other women just to keep an ain't shit man.
Bottom line, Joe, like we already said, once a person, male or female, LGBT, whatever, has been victimized, they are now metaphorically fucked. And they can either A, seek counseling and get healing and get back on track with God's plan on their life, or B, act out like an ignorant ass. If they do that acting out, they're either going to victimize others or continue to be a victim. Okay, so you can go out in the world and be a hoe, but you feel empowered. You know why? Because you chose to be a hoe, like Super Hoe, Superhead, whatever her stupid ass name is. Okay, Superhead is super proud of her stupid ass self because instead of being a victim of molestation, she chooses to be a hoe. She's a voluntary hoe. And that makes her feel empowered, the power of choice. Like I said, that's the only thing that distinguishes the human being from the jackass is choice. That's it. We both breathe, we both shit. We both have dreams, truth be told, but the jackass cannot make a choice where you as a human being can. So when somebody takes away your power of choice, whether it's your husband, your daddy, the slave master, or whoever, you feel dehumanized. And the solution is therapy. And if it's not therapy, you're going to show your ass, okay? Either you're going to be the victim, i.e., the hoe or the person acting out, thinking that you're making a choice, or you'll be the victimizer, potentially, allegedly, like Tiny. Okay, so the question becomes who was fucking her when she was 5? Why would you want to victimize other women for this man? Why is that fun for you to have this group sex all the time with people who are incoherent and incapable of making a conscious choice, allegedly? Why would that be sexually exciting to you to want to fuck somebody who doesn't know and doesn't consent? Why is that exciting? Why does that turn you on?
Y'all gotta. I want y'all to understand. Once narcotics or drugs or certain types of paraphernalia come into the algorithm of sex, all high ground talking points leave the room. All high ground talking points leave the room. There is no court. They only just need one. You only just need one solid story. Granted, I mean, they're already messy as it is. And see, this is going to be a make or break type of thing in the black community. Peace to you, information man. Because see, we see certain people that will sell us out. And they will be open about it. And they'll say, well, You know, how can y'all turn on me? But you were doing these things. You sold dope. You sold out women. You sold guns. So when you say, how can y'all and black people turn on me? But you turned on your people when you started doing that to us. You turned on your own children when you openly put out their body. That was never even brought up in the interview. The women in the interview were confused, like, why is he talking to us about a young girl's virginity? Why are you not checking on your sons that are mentally unhinged? But you worry more so about that strip club that's failing. You got two more babies walking around. Your woman doing excess bodily changes to her body, and you still fucking on other women. But I know some of y'all would say, well, he's rich, that's his money, he has that right. But see, y'all now looking at the rippling effect. Now all of a sudden, people are coming out saying, and y'all can go ahead and pull up the audios on what I talked about, hey, I got drugged. First of all, if there is a child, if they pull up a paperwork that a minor signed an MBD, that's your ass.
Yep.
That's your ass.
Yep.
No minor can sign a document. That right there is a receipt. See, this is why I say sometimes I feel like we're in the consensual Olympics.
Yep.
Dr.A can't have a minor sign a document in her office. And where's your guardian? Where's your parent? I can't take this. Oh, no. Info, as a licensed professional psychologist, he cannot take that. No, I can't have a minor sign a lease agreement to a property. Y'all trying to get me to go to jail? So when somebody's saying that they were 16, they can't overlook. Nobody can overlook. You would have to be stupid to overlook that. But see, I understand. See, there's a sickness that literally, because we have been getting sexually abused and raped and had a lot of traumas going through for so long here, we're not going to pretend like sex trafficking isn't on the hiatus or it isn't up there. It hasn't been up there for a while now.
It's been there for a while, Joe, and we've been putting up with it, which means we collectively, as a Black community, have devalued the victims, okay? We thought it was cute when R. Kelly wanted to pee on the girl. Oh, yeah, that's cute and funny.
Now, it was a cartoon, and it even came out to being a funny cartoon. Why didn't she move out the way? Those people probably wanted that. So, if that is the case, then we made a song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Then we heard about the Foxy Brown. Then we heard about the music industry. Then we heard about the goddamn movie industry. Then we saw Lil Wayne calling a grown man since he was a teenager daddy and kissing him in the mouth.
That's right.
Mean, I'm like, God damn, dude. At some point, I mean, let's not even talk about the church and how and all the stuff that we done seen. Like, at some point, we just gotta be realistically honest and say, yo, man, like, we're more farther down in the shitter than we think. And I mean, I'm not listen, I love y'all, but I'm not gonna keep playing dumb that this shit is now is way out of control.
Right.
So now that we're here, and y'all wonder why, mind you, Tupac said it like this, and mind you, Tupac had an incident with a woman. Even though you're a dope fiend mama, you still a queen mama. So mama was on dope. We know mama was selling her body. Dope fiend, you still my queen. Because a child will always try to look at their parent, no matter how fucked up, in some type of light, even if the child is being abused. Even if daddy is doing wrong, they'll still try to do that. Even if mama is weaponizing, listen, man, it gets deeper. And we can call this shit out as much as we want. It ain't gonna get no better. It ain't gonna get. It's not getting better. And I get some people don't want to talk about it. Like I said, y'all already. I've seen young men passed around in homes, foster care, getting sexually abused.
Yeah.
And if they want to stay in that house, they'll keep having sex with that woman and that man. I remember that. 15-year-old boy. That was the only reason why they kept him in that house, because they could have sex with him. He told us that at wrestling practice. He said, my ride is here to pick me up. I said, no, no, no. You don't got no ride. You staying here with us. We will get you into a better place. We'll get you into a better home. Because we wondered, why did he have marks on him? They were having sex with him. This is a grown 6'2" black young boy having sex with a man and a woman.
And the fact is, Joe, you saved his life. Okay. You saved his life because you made it safe for him to open his mouth. He somehow knew if he opened his mouth, he would be heard. Most children, as you already said, don't open their mouth. They don't feel safe. And most of you as adults, you validate that. Like the people who said HIPAA doesn't work. You're the assholes that are making children feel unsafe. You're the reason that they can't open their mouth in their families because they feel no, they don't have any protection in this world. And if they open their mouth, they will be further invalidated. They're already feeling shame. They're already feeling worthlessness. Can we speak power back into the community for the sake of our children, people? That's the only reason we're here today, okay? I'm volunteering to be on this show as a doctor. I could be getting paid. I could be in the office. I could see 5 patients in this amount of time, and I'm at least going to get the pathetic ass copay. But I'm doing this for free. Why? Because I love you, Black people, brown people, people of color. And it's time for you to get yourself and your family up out the gutter. The gutter is where our children are being victimized and fucked and sodomized and sucked. Whether it's by a man or a woman, it does not matter. It does not matter. It's called using somebody. So if you are a user, yeah, we're going to out you in this next, it's going to be a series, like Joe said. This is just part 1. We're going to get up in your ass, abusers. We're going to out you on this show. For the sake of our children, now is the time. And we are the ones. So it's game over.
And so with that, you guys, we like to thank you guys. We definitely want to thank Dr.A. We definitely want to thank her for coming out. I told her that we were going to do this one. I'm definitely glad that we did that. I definitely want to sit down, and I definitely got to connect her with Dana, and so that way she can go over there and have a good sister talk with Dana. I definitely got to connect with information, man. It is Black History Month, so definitely I can have the conversation. I know there's some people that felt they agreed, they connected with this, and this is good. Some people said they disagreed, they didn't connect with it. That's fine. That's on you. This is not for everybody. But I know that this is something that I've been doing. I've been banging on for a while. I don't mind talking about it because I'm an advocate against it. And I don't mind talking about my goods and my bads. Even myself. But I'm realistic about what's the nature of what's going on. Again, we always push for therapy. If you are being abused, you can email us at this email right here. We can try to find you the proper help. If you have any type of mental duress or something like that, we can try to get you in contact with the proper type of people. Hang on, let me go and grab it for you. You can email us. We can talk on that. Nobody. We're really good on confidentiality. You can always email us at blackbrother123@gmail.com. If you need to, we can get you in touch with Dr. A. You know what I'm saying? That way you can have somebody as a woman that you can talk to. If you want to talk to a man, you can either talk to myself, and we can try to find you the proper route of help that we can. You know what I'm saying? Um, we've been doing this for a while. You know what I'm saying? We don't tell other people what to do on their channel. That's what y'all want to do on y'all channel. That's on y'all. But what we do over here,
That's it.
you know what I'm saying? What we do over here, we
That's
move.
it, BMT. That's
We move
it.
different. We just move differently. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it. That's
Shout out
what's
to
up.
you, Darrell. And we
That's what's
definitely,
up.
we
We're
definitely.
here to love the youth and protect the youth at by any means necessary. Okay. At this point.
So, like I said, we're not going to stop y'all, but y'all ain't going to stop us from doing what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're just not going to stop us. Like I said, we understand that there's alternate forces out there that say that we shouldn't be talking about this. We know, we know that. We see y'all. Us too, we see y'all. But we're going to talk about this because y'all are here, so we're going to be here too. Just like when y'all say stupid shit like, oh, that's consensual. You know who says that? Pedophiles.
Yeah.
Pedophiles say
Yeah.
pedophiles say that. I shit you not, only pedophiles say that to try to normalize their activity with people or people that they shouldn't be in a relationship with. Oh, they are of consensual age. Nobody says that but a pedophile. Nobody says that. Nobody. I just imagine you walking into a bar with a 16-year-old. Oh, don't worry, she's consent. She's of consensual age. That will never hold up. Like I said, y'all people, we got to start calling this shit out. If they don't like us, we need to run them out of the community. Because y'all know damn well y'all can never go to any other community and pull this shit. But you
Right.
just know you'll do it in your community.
Right. Right.
You feel like nobody's going to say nothing. That's on you. And if y'all want to think that, hey, Joe is feminine, is doing up with that, hey, I don't care. That just lets me know you can't debate against what we're saying.
Right.
Because the stats and the facts are all there now. It's all there. We can look at how it's going with our people right now and what they're talking about. And we talk to any people out there in just every day on the street and ask them about how bad is the sexual abuse in the black community. They will go into a whole spew.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty bad. So, Dr. A, let's go ahead and get out of here. Anything you want to say before we go, love? So.
No, thank you, brother. You wrapped it up so sweet. I love it.
All right, guys. So we're out. Thank y'all for joining us. Like the video, comment on the video. You can share and speak your grievances as long as it's respectful. If you want to try to get in touch with us, you already got our email. And we'll see you guys later. Peace. Thank you guys for coming on through. Thank you, D. Darrell, the Conscious Clientele, and everybody else, David, and everyone, Kenneth. Peace. Y'all have a good day.